Hi everyone, Materim here again with another practice game for the Southern Assault GT at the end of July. I'm bringing my Saurian Ancients list against Michael's Dwarven Holds list, um, just like the same one he did in the last battle report. This time we are doing a more standard deployment. Again, we're using maps from the map pack and scenarios. The scenario for this game is Breakthrough, which I'm hoping gives me some sort of advantage. I guess we'll see. But on the plus side, I've already faced this list from Michael, so I think I've got some other ideas. And the placement of the hill on this side, where, as you can see, most of my army is hiding, I think it's super fortunate for me, and I'm going to try and make the best of that. So, deployment for the dwarves, we've got the bomber hiding behind the hill on his side. Then we've got the 24 graybeards with hand weapon, shield, and throwing weapons and full command. Behind that is his flaming rune-crafted catapult. Then he's got the 30 deep watch with full command and the runic standard of shielding. In there, he also has his king on a war throne with shield, 2 runes of shielding, rune of retribution, rune of might, and 2 runes of fury. He also has his Thane battle standard bearer with shield, 2 runes of iron, Aether lodestone, and Aether icon. Directly behind that is his engineer with a shield and a forge repeater. Then at the far end, he's got the 24 throwing weapon graybeards with full command, and behind that is his other rune-crafted catapult. He got to deploy everything first and put it here, figuring that he didn't want to immediately hide his own guys behind a hill, so that's pretty much what you got. So, on my side, as you can see, I have 90% of my army hiding behind this hill, because I do not want to get catapulted to death. Starting on the right, that single cowboy is a firstborn veteran. He's my battle standard bearer on Raptor. He has the obsidian sword and the dragonfire gem, as well as the light armor and shield. Next to that is a single unit of 2 salamanders. Behind that is my pretty standard 32-man block of Swordist warriors, full command with the Serpent Warriors upgrade, and they have the Banner of Speed on them. Then I have 5 Caimans with full command and halberds. Behind them is 20 Skink Braves with musician and bows. And hanging out with them is my Skink Priest. He has 3 spells to the lore of Druidism and the Jade Staff. Next to those is my Taurosaur with the Engine of the Ancients. Then I have a single unit of 2 Snake Swarms. Next to that is my General, a firstborn warlord on an Alpha Carnosaur. He has the Spear of the Stampede and the Egg of Quetzal. Then there is a unit of 10 Skink Hunters. They have javelins and shield. And then way on the other side over here is 3 Rampedon Riders with full command. And I went ahead and marked the bomber and his hand weapon and shield graybeards as their prey scented, because I figure they're probably going to be my best option to kill the bomber before it gets to me. At least that's the ultimate hope. So, of course, because he dropped everything, my opponent goes first. He kind of realized the downside that as long as I'm hiding everything, he's going to have to flush me out. He also realizes why I put my Rampedons over there, so he pushes his bomber right in front to get away from it and pushes everything forward. I don't know how to do this. My hope is essentially kind of trying to push things around to the side to make him turn a little bit. If I can get him to turn, I'm going to try and bring my salamanders out onto the hill and flamethrower his big unit of the Deep Watch, because that's about my only thought, is flamethrower them and just not engage anything. If I've got to throw him some BS just to kill and tie him up, I'm okay with that. But I don't think I have anything in this army that can handle that big unit. So my idea here is to avoid it and try and kill everything else and see where we can go with that. So he tried shooting but got nothing off because all he could see is my stuff over here. So we go to my turn. I go ahead and charge his copter with my general, and he of course flees. So I'm fine with that. I push everything up hard here. My idea is I don't want to come close enough for him to get a charge. So right now I'm too far for him to even make a maximum charge on anything, because I don't want a repeat of what happened last game. But he's going to have to come ahead, because he all of my good stuff with points is hiding behind the hill. So the idea is I've got all these small movable units, so once he comes forward, I'm going to push everything hard up that flank and try and get behind him, get to the soft targets in the back. And if he turns to engage me, then I can march everything out behind the hill and go ahead and kind of sandwich him in. That's really my only hope. I've got to try and figure out a good way to use the slower movement of the dwarves against him and see how it works. I go ahead and throw Spirit of the Woods on these guys, really for no good reason. They're stubborn. It might give them an extra -1 to hit if he's throwing weapons at me, but really just kind of messing around here. It also didn't help that I didn't get any good spells. Like, I have no damage dealing spells. It's bad. So Dwarven holds turn 2. He rallies the copter, and it stands where it is. He moves up. I don't even think he moves up this turn. I think he's kind of concerned of what's going on. He ends up going to shooting phase. He does drop a rock on the Taurosaur and inflicts 1 wound. And then I think he missed with the other one. So it's my turn 2. And I decide to go ahead and push up hard. I can get my Skinks and the Rampedons around. I also managed to just barely squeeze my general out of his line of sight from charging. I could not do the same with the swarms, so I didn't bother. The idea is if he wants to go for those points, he can do it, and then maybe I can hook him up with some charges once that one unit is off by itself. And everything here, I turn slightly to give him the impression that I'm going that way. The idea being that if he is going to start making a turn and turning that direction, it's got to be now for it to have any real import. So I just kind of swift reformed everything just to the side a little bit to make it feel like I'm about to make a break in that direction and see if it'll make him go for it. Dwarven hold turn 3 because he stopped me cold in magic and I don't have shooting worth a damn. At least not at this range. He drives the bomber over my Skinks, drops a bomb and kills 2 of them. And here it comes. He's starting the turn. He's not being completely foolhardy with it because he's not completely turning away. But if all I have to deal with is those great weapon guys, I'm super fantastically happy about that. But what he did do is he moved so that I can get my salamanders up and catch the flank of the Deep Watch, and hopefully I'll do some damage there. He ends up then doing some shooting, kills off 3 more of the Skinks. They're still not panicking by some miracle. And then he drops a rock on the Rampedons, misses them with the first hit, lands the second, but only inflicts 1 wound. So, again, super lucky for me there. So we go to turn 3, and it's time to waste these catapults. Um, I end up hitting the catapults, but annoyingly, with the way he's situated this engineer, what's going to happen is if I kill it, I'm going to overrun, clip the engineer, and since I'm in its flank, I'll have to turn so that I won't be able to overrun into the other gun. Um, so he's kind of redirecting my frenzy guys pretty effectively there. But I decide to go ahead and start threatening this side for him as well. So I bring some skinks and my general around out of line of sight, hoping that he'll keep doing that turn. Then over here, I move up the salamanders. Because of the way this hill is done, I can't really set both of them where they are. But the salamander that's up on the skull that's on the hill is actually where the unit is. I measured it out, so I'm out of his line of sight. I'm still in line of sight of the great weapons, but I'm thinking he can hit me there, kill me, and overrun, and he'll probably end up on the other side of the hill, and I'm figuring I should be able to kill him pretty casually once that happens. But that's my aim. So I end up actually having a good magic phase. I get Oaken Throne off, I get Healing Waters off, and I heal the wound on the Torosaur. So this is about the best magic phase I think I have all game. So, but it's okay. I give some regeneration to the salamanders in case they do get charged or get weapons thrown at them. I'm pretty happy with that. And then I let loose with the fire, and I kill 4 deep watch. Uh, it was amazing. I did a lot of hits, but strength 4 and toughness 4 cuts that in half, and then their crazy armor plus the ward save from shooting just decimated what I did. So 4 wounds, and I still don't have any good way of dealing with this unit. Over here, obviously, the Rampedons just brutally murder the catapult, overrun, clip the engineer, and close the door as such. Dwarven holds turn 5. The bomber decides to get its balls up and step in front of my general. In doing so, it dropped a bomb on the skinks and killed them, which I actually have to say I'm okay with because now that's cleared the route for my general to get in there and do some horrible damage to whatever he's going to hit. Over here, he does complete the charge. I think I stand and shot and inflicted next to nothing. But I misfired this. Yeah, I think I misfired on the stand and shoot, so he took a wound. And then he starts coming up. This is where things are going to get dicey. I'm in danger of having the same thing that happened last game happen to this one, in that he's going to box me in. I need to destroy the unit that's up on the hill to give me some breathing room, and to be able to work around, or he's just going to be able to sweep in and do bad things to my units. The only plus side is he doesn't get to see over the hill until for a little bit more because he can't get up on it with the movement he's got. So it's going to give me one more turn to get the hell out of the way. So no shooting of worth. Combat, he obviously just absolutely destroys the 2 salamanders, even with their regeneration up, and overruns right into the front of my Saurus block. And over here, I actually slaughter the dwarf engineer before he gets to go, so I'm pretty okay with that. So we go to my turn 4. My general charges his copter. He decides to stay because he's afraid that I would redirect into the back of his graybeards, which was absolutely going to be my plan. So I'm going to eat me some copter. Over here, I decide to bring up and redirect that unit. I'm just trying to space him out a little bit. If he doesn't move up next turn because he doesn't want to leave the Greybeards behind, I'm super happy with that. But otherwise, he's going to have to bring the King's unit up by itself, which again, super happy with. The further that I can get his units from each other, I think the stronger position I'm in. I also decided to go ahead and just charge my BSB into the flank here, figuring a few extra wounds wouldn't hurt, plus the extra combat res from the extra banner and the flank charge. And the charge should be enough to deal with him. Then I decided to go ahead and reform, or basically move these guys so that they're within 12 of the cannon, so that he can't, or not cannon, catapult, so that he can't drop a rock on him again. And my magic doesn't do anything. My shooting is, I think I shot through at the cannon, or the catapult, and end up doing a wound on it from the guys on the back of the Rampedons. But needless to say, my general impact hits the shit out of this this copter with the Spear of the Stampede, and it dies. So I reform here to take a peek at the back of those dwarves. And over here, things go bad. We just did not do well here. I did not manage to kill. I think we tied on wounds. We're at like 8 wounds apiece. And I've got a lot of static combat res here. I mean, our charges negate, but I got a flank, an extra banner on him, 2 extra ranks on him. So he's rolling on a 5 with a reroll, I think is what he's sitting at. And he sticks it, so he doesn't go anywhere. And now comes the risk of me getting pinned in. And these guys absolutely have to die next turn, or I am completely screwed here. Dwarven turn 5, and I took pictures after the combat, but yeah, he charges into the swarms, brutalizes them, and then screws up his overrun, and only goes a couple of inches, so he's still within an amazingly good charge for both my general, which you see here, and the Taurosaur, which is down in the south. So my plan is to just hit this unit with everything it's got and take them out. Then you can see he moved his big unit of the iron, or the Deep Watch, up on the hill, but then I managed to not completely wipe out his Greybeards, which was really good, because they finally broke, and he did not roll high enough on his flea, so he stopped right in front of his King's unit, which blocks him up from charging for another turn, and basically means if he gets a turn, the only thing he gets to do is, if he wants to charge his King out, he'll be able to do that. Which will be fantastic, because I'm not going to have to deal with that whole unit. I also point my guys off to the side here so they can run along and just get away. So my turn 5, I go ahead and slam with both my big dinosaurs into this unit. I also charge with the Rampedons into the catapult, and I push the Caimans up as close as they can to the ass end of the Taurosaur, because it gets them out of front arc of his King, so that he won't be able to run out at them. My other guys push on here and run off this direction, which mainly I want to get out of the way, but this ends up being a mistake for me. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And over here, I reformed and moved as far as I could. He still could theoretically hit this unit with his King, but he's got to roll an 11 or 12 to do it, I think is what it ends up coming out to be. I'm trying to conserve points and get him out of here. So we go into combat. I murder the catapult and do not run off the board. Over here, I absolutely slaughtered this unit. I killed him to a man and only took a single wound on my general, so my guys here turn around. And that's some good points. Then we go to Dwarven Holds turn 6, and as stupid as this is, the worst thing that could have happened did happen, in that he did not rally with these dwarves on a leadership 10 rerollable, and they fled through his unit. They're there, they're going to die. I'm going to get the points for that. But then this happens. And I remember too late that the scenario we are playing for is breakthrough. And because of how we were playing, his march move off of that hill puts him into my deployment zone, and I don't have anything scoring anywhere close. So he's going to end up netting the scenario objective at this point. So I decide to just go ahead and take what I can get. In my turn 6, I charge my BSB at that unit. They're fleeing, so they run over here. I charge my other dinosaurs out. They basically bounce, like ping-pong him back and forth, but all 3 of them end up catching. So they run in and just stomp 5 dwarves to death. And that's how the game ends. You can see where my last movements were. I could not get close enough to get his into his deployment zone. So when we totaled up the points, it was a 15-5, a very strong win for me until we got to the scenario. So the scenario knocked it down to a 12-8, which is just barely a win, and certainly not going to be good enough to put me at any good placing in the tournament. Not that I really expect to do anything good in this tournament, but it kills me that in those last moments it swung the game by, in essence, 1,000 victory points. But I don't know that I could have done anything differently. If I had run out my probably the Caimans could have run out because they're scoring, but I don't know that they could have gotten out of the line of the just massive dwarven death line he was bringing. And if I had brought him out sooner than that, before I had the catapults taken care of, it's entirely possible he could have just blown them off the table with the catapults. So, all in all, I think tactically I did as well as I could have expected here. The hill there was fantastic. It really let me do what I needed to do in support in getting that unit out of the way, or getting all those units out of the way of being shot, and kind of helping me split up. Because really, I handled the other units fairly well, but it's still, I mean, a Deep Watch Death Star that's 2,000 points strong is, I don't know, it's beyond me to handle at this point, other than doing what I did of just trying not to engage the damn thing, and maybe try and pick off some points. But like I was looking at my list, I don't think I could have thrown anything in there and had it come out well. Maybe if I had gotten lucky enough to hit him with my Saurus block plus the Caimans plus both dinosaurs, I might have won that, but I think I still lose on the grind. I'll do a bunch of damage up front, but then I think he'll just slowly beat me to death. And if he could get that king touching any of my monsters, he probably could have finished them off reasonably quickly. So, but it was a fun game. I'm finding myself intrigued about figuring out how to deal with this list. Though I do need to actually play against armies that are not the dwarves to kind of figure out what else I'm going to do. I am very much leaning towards the Saurians as being my army of choice. And this list I'm actually enjoying. Michael still thinks I should play with something with a quaddle in it. My response to that is that I never roll good magic phases. And I just don't feel like I want to run the risk of putting a 700 or 800 point quaddle in there, and then I proceed to roll nothing higher than 6 dice in magic the whole game. I think I'll have much more fun putting the big dinosaur on the board. And yeah, maybe he'll get shot off, but maybe I'll hit something in the face with a bunch of strength 7 impact hits, and I'll feel better about myself. I don't know. Um, but yeah, any advice, particularly for you Saurian players that see this list and want to give me some pointers, would be certainly welcome. Anybody who wants to help me convince Michael that 2,000 points is way too much to have in one unit, certainly pipe up there as well. Um, and see what you can do to help convince him, because I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening if he brings that, because there are just so many better players than us here that I think he's going to really regret getting led around by the nose with that 2,000 point unit and it not getting into anything good. But maybe that's just me naysaying and being a Debbie Downer, but we'll see. Wanted again to mention my Patreon. I would certainly appreciate anyone who wishes to donate and help support the channel and our various events and videos and stuff, and helping us get to some more tournaments. That would be a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody who has already donated. You are certainly appreciated, and hopefully we are still living up to what you guys want from us. But thank you guys for watching this one. Again, comments down below if you feel like you can help us out. Otherwise, we will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.